nicest compliment, which is, "Oh my God, you're so creative." Thank you. And it's a skill. A book I read on creativity is Julia Cameron, The Artist's Way. Artist like painter artist, way like protocol. Oh my God, that's actually pretty good. The Artist Protocol, which is how to be slightly more creative using morning pages. And if these sunrise videos feel like it's a journal, that's what it's meant to do to practice the muscle of creativity. Let's jump into 5 ways to boost creativity. Who am I? I'm Larry Chang. It's nice to meet you. And I gained notoriety by starting a company while I was in undergrad, studying engineering, and playing a sport. My time was incredibly constrained, and I had to try to be as efficient as I could. I started my small business in my little dorm room at Illini Tower and Oglesby. And so I just learned how to be resourceful. This is 5 ways to boost creativity. Problem: you've got a blank page, a large piece of paper, or a big computer screen that's staring at you in the face. It's big, it's blank, and you're like, oh my God, what a giant screen. Now I have to fill 7 pages, and you're like, 7 pages? I need to do a 7 page paper or a 7 page book report. I barely even read the book very well. I guess I'm going to need to compile research material and stay stuck at 0. So that's the problem, is the blank page staring at you, or a blank screen, which is worse because that screen's notifying you to go get distracted via this YouTube video. That's how we met, right? Which is being intimidated. That's the problem. The solution is we find a small piece of paper. Hopefully you're not at a bar, okay? And you take these small pieces of paper and then you write on the back of them. This is a yummy restaurant and they serve delicious Chinese food there. And so what we're doing is we're filling up, we're not even filling up, we're gaining confidence by writing down a morsel of an idea on the back of a cocktail napkin. And is this cliche? Yes, but it's it's notorious for a reason. It's common that it's just legendary because it works, which is, what big book are you going to write that starts on the back of a cocktail napkin? What 7 page required assignment are you going to accomplish 5 days before your assignment is due? Just because it's due on Friday doesn't mean you have to turn it in at 5 o'clock on Friday. And people even ask, hey, what time is this due on the day? And I'm like, oh my God. So then you take that little piece of paper and then you transpose it and blow it up into a larger piece of paper. This is the back of a Trader Joe's tea wrapper. This is a Trader Joe's tea wrapper. And on the back of it, it expands. So what you're doing there is you're having momentum like a snowball. You're having momentum like you're an entrepreneur that doesn't sit at home quietly coding up an app for exercise or an app for athletes to train better. You're not coding up and sitting in a cave going into monk mode going, oh, after I create this perfect thing like Iron Man, I'm going to leave the cave and start dominating the world. not the way to go. Page 37, page 65. And so what we're doing is we're coming up with 5 ways to boost creativity inside of what normal people would think would work well, and what we're doing, which is creating. We're literally creating something out of nothing, which is 5 ways to boost creativity using a Trader Joe's tea wrapper. This is going to get off the rails in a good way in a hurry, because what you're doing with little pieces of paper is you're getting off of your phone temporarily, where your phone is meant to shackle you. Your telephone, my phone's not so smart, it's really just breaking my brain. And when your brain gets broken, then you're like, this is how I take notes. Where is your phone when you're sleeping? Is your phone right next to your bed? Because this is probably the 50th time somebody's told you to not have your phone near your bed to double as your alarm clock. In fact, because we're on this live stream together, before this live stream ends, if you want me to buy you an alarm clock, buy this protocol. This is what happens when your phone interrupts you. You don't dream of solutions to the countless Larry Chang videos that you've watched, and they're not connecting. And so when you're dreaming, you're like, wow, I can connect these things, and thanks to Larry Chang for buying me an alarm clock. This is how it works. You text me, hey, I bought an alarm clock. That's one. You text me that you bought it. Screenshot the receipt. Next thing you do is you tell me 2 positive things that not having your phone in your bedroom next to your bed, if you're sleeping on whatever piece of furniture that you're sleeping on, tell me what it's like without having your phone within 8 feet of your head. 2 videos. And then after those 2 videos are finished, I will send you half the Venmo. So half the Venmo for the first video, half Venmo for the second video, and now you're going to be more creative because your phone's not blowing up your brain. Blowing up your phone, pun intended. See what I did there? Being creative is knowing that your phone wants you to do the opposite of create. Your phone wants you to consume. And that's why these videos aren't super popular, because I'm not trying to entertain you, even though there is stand-up comedy. I'm not trying to soothe you, oh, time spent here is going to be amazing. I'm literally trying to get you off of 0, which is 5 ways to boost creativity. Point number 2, which is using a Trader Joe's tea wrapper. Trader Joe's selling Asian shit is kind of funny because I'm Chinese and I don't go to the Korean market to go buy my Chinese tea, right? Because Korean people sell the best tea, or is it Japanese people? I don't know. But the point here is that your phone's not so smart. It's, sing it with me, really just breaking my brain. My phone's not so smart. Sing it. Come on. I can hear through your microphone that Steve Jobs default turns on. My phone's not so smart. It's really just breaking my brain. The solution is paper. The solution is a little piece of paper. The solution is, why won't you win? Because winning is using little piece of paper. You got a 7-page paper. Let's continue with the example because it's about to get magical. You're welcome for the mother scratching alarm clock. And those of you who are with me for quiet Christian prayer time, how magical is that? And sad because there were a ton of people on that stream and my big face wasn't on that stream. Not going to be offended by that, okay? Not going to be offended by quiet time going viral. You're welcome. And good to have you back, friends. You're welcome for the alarm clock. The protocol for if you're just connecting in or you're texting your friends, hey, jump on this stream, this YouTube live session, you get a free alarm clock. Solution, you get to dream better. Problem, your phone's wrecking your REM cycle, rapid eye movement. Solution, I will buy you an alarm clock, text me the receipt. Once you post one video of this is my life improved with an alarm clock onto YouTube, I will give you half the money for the alarm clock. Then post another video about, hey, I'm sleeping without my phone ruining my brain. Here's a video. And after that second video, another 50% of the cost of your alarm clock. Am I knowledge activating Mark McCormack? Reverse rebate model? Yes. Am I knowledge activating a book, Why We Sleep? Yes. Is this knowledge activation and doing of 5 ways to be slightly more creative by sleeping on your homework? Yes. This is how. Yes. You sleep on your homework and you have genius shit because I'm running Silicon Valley with an IQ of 88 and I'm not talking trash the way a black or white person talks trash. I'm talking trash like I'm literally rocking an IQ of 80 and I'm running the shit in Silicon Valley because my brain works slightly better. Continuing with I have a 7-page research report due, a 7-page summary, a 7-page whatever. I have a 7-pager due for school. It's required before Wednesday. You spend 6 minutes and you do the whole thing now. You just spend 6 minutes. You come up with an outline. You start with the conclusion and then you end with the conclusion, and the middle part is fluff. And so you're bookending the things to pay attention to and what to expect. Because what you're doing is you're marinating work. So it takes minutes to do using technology that you initially prime, because the pieces of paper, those are prompts. Then you sleep on it and then you read it and then you improve it, because the structure of it will slightly morph. And when the structure changes, the content changes. Just like the investment thesis that I came up with to alter 2 other institutions of Silicon Valley, Stanford and Y Combinator. Third one is Larry Chang. And it's not ostentatious to say that because of the 5 ways to boost creativity that this video's on. I did 650 ways to boost creation per month. And that's why the posts just sit there as if it's being disseminated, but people aren't vibing on the retweet because the frequency's slightly off. I coded the frequency to be frequent and at a certain frequency that you have to oscillate towards. Oscillation is morphing of frequencies together. And when these disconnect, I have to wait for you to connect. I can make it only so simple, no simpler, which is why we're practicing on 5 ways to boost creativity, starting at level 0 creativity, which is access to a library. If you haven't set foot in a library, or you've not begun to build your own library of 7 books, at least go to your parents' or friends' place of, I have 4 books. That is the beginning of a library. And going to your city's public library. What happens there? Everybody is still on their phone. This library, they'll hand out little scrap pieces of paper because they don't want you graffitiing everything, okay? And so at this library, you're allegedly, purportedly working on your 7-page paper. When this burden, this onus of I'm going to a place that has all these books that I have not read, there's a burden to it. And you see how if you can just push your progress forward like you're in a video game slightly further, you will juxtapose the pain of going to a library with the pleasure of springboarding using other people's books, like you're using a bibliography to map the world. Springboard like what a gymnast does to jump higher. Springboard like the bouncy pad that people who can't dunk a basketball are then going to use to elevate themselves higher. Austin Public Library, Miami Public Library, Silicon Valley Public Library. P.F. Chang's fortune cookie. Number 4, 5 ways to boost creativity using a P.F. Chang's fortune cookie. Did you know that somebody's business is writing fortune cookie messages? And so, are you going to wait for the perfect fortune cookie? Or are you going to write your own fortunes? Because writing your own fortunes is one of the best ways to boost creativity. How, why, where, how. Right now, the state of people's money is they can't invest $7 to make $300. That's just the state of the economy right now. Prove me wrong, but it's not going to be very easy to prove me. It's going to be literally impossible to prove me wrong. Prove yourself correct by believing that you can write a fortune cookie and make money on that fortune cookie, because it turns out everybody's always writing to their fortune cookie. They just don't know what they wrote. This is what happens when you motivationally listen to people that tell you where they're going in life. And so when I'm saying, hey, point number 4 is we want to write our own fortune on the back of a P.F. Chang's fortune cookie, that is a specific example of us mapping out a treasure map like it's Waze. This next point, you're going to want to grab a pen for, because it's going to motivate you for that 7-page paper so much that you'll be licking your chops giving yourself 7-page paper essay homework assignments to do. This is what it is. You can get return on investment on any work conference so long as you can come up with a 7-page paper. Also, you can extrapolate what the book talks about in future chapters. But let's say writing multiple chapters to a book that you haven't really read very well is intimidating to you. This is why we're doing the video, 5 ways to boost your creativity. Because here we can write one chapter of a 18-chapter book. This is 5 ways to boost creativity, because all we're doing is connecting the book to what we search and find. Because as soon as you write a book, this is the problem. As soon as you write a book, that book becomes outdated. The author knows it, the publisher knows it, everybody knows it when you're on the other side of, oh, wouldn't it be great if I wrote a book? So what you do is you take the author's recent content and you DJ it into the antiquated content that was printed out. That's what we're doing with hashtag CHA19, which is chapter 19 to Fiat Standard. This is what we're doing with chapter 65 and chapter 66 of Warren Buffett's biography, almost autobiography, if Alice didn't co-write it for him. Chapter 65, chapter 66 of Snowball. Remember, we're talking about 5 ways to boost creativity, and perfectly extrapolated is CHA15. Is this of the Fiat Standard? Nope. It's Joe Dispenza breaking the habit of being you. Setting aside your smartphone to no longer do the my phone is my alarm clock, and meshing it with mesh network, allegory, metaphor intended, with stepping towards a new destiny, which is chapters 9 through 14, or the section of chapters 9 through 14 in breaking the habit of being you, where if you walk into a lot of girls' apartment, they've got a Joe Dispenza book that they haven't read very well because they want to go to a Joe Dispenza workshop, or they already went to the workshop and they got the book for free or for 15 bucks. And they're like, yeah, if you want to learn more, read about in this book. Wait a minute, isn't that why I paid you $4,500? Is so that way I can learn more because I don't want to read the book. I just want somebody to read it to me. That's chapter 15, is stepping towards a new destiny via 3 Joe Dispenza books, where together we're becoming more creative by reading how Joe Dispenza created with Evolve Your Brain. That's a great book. And Joe Dispenza's Becoming Supernatural. That's also a great book. It's a great book too if you want to be chemical free, because chapter 12 talks about the pineal gland. And chapter 15 is a chapter or a book or a chapter or a book report, whatever version of it you want to do, that we can collaborate on, or you can do because you're taking the first step in the 5 ways to be slightly more creative, which is you take the new content that I've written about using what mode of communication? YouTube X, where it's chapter 15, Joe Dispenza, Larry Chang. I've talked ad hominem, verbal diarrhea out chapter 15 because the brain just wanted to explode this information out. Am I activating 5 ways to be more creative by creating a unofficial sequel to Joe Dispenza? Yes. Am I using the initial book that I mentioned, which I will mention again, teaser, TZ McTease, in a moment. Chapter 1, this is a doozy, so pen to paper if you're feeling frisky, pen to paper. And YouTube remixed this. You're welcome. Seriously, you're welcome, because this is a YouTube remixable moment, which is chapter 1 through chapter 14. Tell me a number in the comments between 1 and 14. And while I wait for you to punch in your 1 through 14, say any number, hashtag CH7. 7 is my mentor's chapter on sex. Bang less, get ahead. Hashtag CH7. Hashtag CH8 is my mentor's chapter on karma. Karma can be tracked, measured, and channeled. 11, hashtag CH11. My mentor's chapter, which is the flagship chapter, which is how to fail forward. We never really fail. We're just reframing failure into how we fail forward. We do a ball fake, and then we win because we used to fail and now we're failing forward. In fact, now whenever I hear bad news, I'm like, oh, that's not bad news. That's actually okay news because we're failing forward. CH1, the structure of the hashtag, is in and of itself an Easter egg. Why? Because it shows you 14 secret chapters that are Easter eggs. There are 14 Easter egg category chapters. Chapter 1 is how to go to Stanford for free. And it's free via a library card, via my dog's dreaming about going to Stanford again. Brady, are you barking in your sleep? There's no barking in your sleep, buddy. Who's creating his dream to be slightly better? Chapters 1 through 14 is what they don't teach you at Stanford Business School. Hashtag WTDSASBS. What they don't teach you at Stanford Business School. Is that a sequel to the creative work of Mark McCormack? What they don't teach you at Harvard Business School? What they still don't teach you at Harvard Business School? What they will never teach you. What they will never teach you at Harvard Business School. Guacamole recipe number 23 is Mark McCormack's external API. It's incredibly creative to do the golf tour for seniors. Golf tour for seniors doesn't quite have the same ring as golf tour senior. Oh, senior golf tour. Once you say the senior golf tour, you're like, wow, I can't believe he started that franchise. Same business model, same distribution, basically same golfers hitting from the ladies' tees, just 10 years older. And so when that innovation happens, that helps us understand 5 ways for us to boost our creativity. And so I have a 3-book series on what they don't teach you at Stanford Business School, what they will never teach you at Stanford Business School, and what they still don't teach you at Stanford Business School. Here's where there's even more Easter eggs. And it's deliciously hidden in public, just like what I'm guessing the Illuminati does, which is, oh, you want equality? I'm going to make the library cost $0. So that way I'm hiding all my secrets in plain sight. The details are the Easter egg. 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 Here are the details. Motivational listening. Everybody who creates YouTube content coaches you on how to be a motivational speaker, how to be more charismatic. The thing that keeps people from being charismatic is their inability to listen. So I went ahead and wrote out 14 chapters with this nomenclature, which is hashtag CHAPTEERONE. Chapter 1. Hashtag CHAPTERFOURTEEN. That's 1 through 14. The reason I use the 1 through 14 format is I connect all of my mentors chapters to a new book, whatever I'm reading. And so that's how I memorize every book's table of contents. And if it's got 65 chapters, I just repeat 1 through 14 to be 15 through 28. and that's my cheat code for how to memorize any author's table of contents. And that's why I show up so seemingly well prepared, because this is moonwalking with Einstein, Elon Musk, Bill Clinton, and Larry Chang. I'm not necessarily fans of everybody, but everybody is a fan of me because we are listening to each other. Literally, that's how VIPs charm you, because that's how they got to the top. That's how they got to the top. That's how they got to the top. By palming basketballs while they're doing YouTube, winning. Hot Girl Sales Club Bible. Unofficial Hot Girl Sales Club Bible. When are you going to take the 7 pages via this video, which is 5 ways to boost creativity, in order for us to write your first book? I'll help you write the outline in like a minute. Let's field gold. Did you guys like Christian Time? Did you guys like Christian Time with me? I thought it was good. I thought it was fun. Some creeper's 10-year-old kid was like, "Hi, I'm 10." When you lead off with your age, you're not being super creative, which is us doing Hot Girl Entrepreneur Club book. Hashtag CHONE. Hashtag CHFOURTEEN. You don't want to say, "Hey Larry, will you hold up your notes so that way I can take a screenshot?" You want to say, hey, can you repeat that? Because that's absolutely one of the best questions that you can ever ask in 5 ways to boost creativity, which is, whoa, can you repeat what that was? And understanding structure, where you're not trying to do pattern recognition, hashtag PRPRPI. You're trying to do pattern repetition and pattern iteration. You want to briefly do pattern recognition. You don't want to do whole scale pattern recognition. And looking for the structure of how your mentor or how your speaker is delivering content, and asking for structure and seeing their structure for what your effort is, with trying to better mind map the notes. And mind mapping is advanced. Note-taking via the 7-page structure or 5-act play or intro, body, conclusion. Wait, was that just a conclusion that you did? Are you bullet pointing these? Was that bullet point number 3? Bullet point number 2 was Trader Joe's green tea paper. Bullet point number 1 was cocktail napkin. And this is how to ask educated questions, which is part of being creative. You don't have to ask questions here because that's intimidating, right? You can ask questions while you're reading the book, which is, wait a minute. So you're saying little pieces of paper, little piece of paper, little piece of paper turns into one big, awesome thought? Oh my gosh, is this also BJ Fogg's How to Gain Confidence? Yes. And now you're connecting structure. And when you confirm it, you'll have that light bulb moment. And then you can even pretend to have a light bulb moment where you're like, oh my God, I think the light bulb just came on for me. Because you're connecting with the author, you're connecting with the speaker, and you're actually motivationally listening, which is right out of chapter 10 of Motivational Listening. And you can steal the book, because that's what they don't teach you at Stanford Business School is meant to do, is have you steal the book in the same way that I stole a GSB education, which is literally the cost of a library card. Matt Damon made a movie about this. Matt Damon made a movie about this called Good Will Hunting. And can he do this with a basketball? Actually, Matt Damon can, because Matt Damon's great at everything. He had a library card in Good Will Hunting making fun of Harvard people. What's a professional NPC? Holy fudge, yes, wow, now work. Is this where you're trying to trick me into participating in reading nonsensical comment? Which is the opposite of chapter 10 interrogation, because you're trying to do what your phone does to your brain by distracting me with notifications to see if I'm reading and paying attention versus just text messaging my phone, and that way the notifications appear different, which is why on Instagram things happen. Let's just put it that way, which is why the streams are separate. I don't restream same stream and then have Instagram stuff pop, because that's crossing the swords. Interrogation and asking, hey, with point number 4, writing the fortune cookie, did you come up with that idea on the back of a P.F. Chang's napkin? Did you come up with that on the back of a napkin? Or how did that come about? Oh, you were in Tempe, Arizona at the downtown P.F. Chang's with a bunch of Kappa Kappa Gammas, and you wanted to gamify fortune cookies because you give a fortune cookie to a hot girl and you're like, here's your fortune cookie. Soon you will be eating Chinese food. Do you like how I keep it Sunday PG-29? PG-13 is a movie. PG-29 is how to talk to women at the epiphany stage and phase of life. Hot Girl Bible. Stealing my book title. You're welcome to. These are ideas for you to create based on where you take my ideas and then you alter them slightly, or just run with these ideas where this is the first time you've done a mind meld with a person who's coming up with 11 ways to help you be more creative in a video called 5 Ways to Help You Be More Creative. Did Finding Forrester in the Sean Connery movie also do this? Yes. Is this plagiarism? No. Why? Why is this not plagiarism, Larry? Because I'm giving you these ideas, and then when we collaborate over email, larry@duck9.com, or text message, my phone number is literally everywhere, we do CS 183 law. Law being U.S. rule of law, and Larry's always winning. If you're thinking Larry Chang's always winning, you're sort of right, but there's another Larry that you got to meet. Let me go get him. I'm going to go get him. Ta-da! Here's the other Larry. Larry Lessig. Larry Lessig. Free culture. Copyright. The rule of law is sampling is allowed, especially if it's full consent sampling, which is what they don't teach you at Stanford Business School is, where you can expand on chapter 3, paste copy, where I'm quoting my mentor, Mark McCormack from Yale Law School, on paste copying the New York Fashion Week, because before it was Random Ass Fashion Week. And he just added a New York to Fashion Week, and boom, that's a brand new IMG franchise, International Management Group. Did I name my company similar to International Management Group? Yes. IMG.com is a real company that my mentor started, and the 3-letter names were taken. So then I went to the 4-letter names. Those are all taken too. Now I'm doing a 5-letter name. Deeply understood Chinese knowledge. Oh, but there's a lot of Caucasian people in America. Don't you want to help them be more Chinese? I do. Why don't we call it deeply understood credit knowledge? So that way you don't need your rich uncle to give you $2 million because you don't have a uncle that would give you $2 million. Plus, if you did have an uncle that could give you $2 million, he wouldn't give it to you because you would just use that for drugs, which is why it's Duck 9, deeply understood credit knowledge. Give yourself a credit score of 800 or 750, and then make yourself into a millionaire. 600K right now counts for a millionaire because you're just rounding up. It's like playing the game on easy mode because nobody's going to give you a $50,000 venture capital investment, but a VC will give you $400, kind of like the way that I gave you an alarm clock. And that $400 you do via a blog post that I read because Reverse VC is a flagship franchise within Duck 9. You keep all the money. How awesome is that? Oh, is that also David Weekley's Reverse Job Fair? Is that where you got Reverse VC from? Good catch. Because everyone was like, oh my God, Larry Chang's such a genius for like charging VCs, for VCs to pitch entrepreneurs. And then Larry takes all the money from the VCs and he just buys food, doesn't buy alcohol. He just buys food. Oh my God, he's a legend. Legend. Where I'm like, oh my God, I'm actually not a legend. David Weekley is my hashtag non-employee co-founder. He started Reverse Job Fair, and I was like, hey, instead of this Reverse Job Fair, which is the engineers sit here and then employers throw us putty and job offers, we are getting pitched. David Weekley, instead of having employers throw us job offers, why don't we sit here as entrepreneurs and have VCs throw us money in pitches? Why don't we do a reverse VC pitch? Because David Weekley, you did Reverse Job Fair. Reverse Job Fair. Normally at a job fair, people beg companies for jobs. At a reverse job fair, the engineers sit and the employers throw us putty. That was incredibly creative when it came out. That's how to get a VC to be impressed at spending $300 to $2,000 for an event that you create with me or without me, I don't care, called hashtag Reverse VC. Do you see how these are 5 ways to boost creativity? And you see how you can create and win. And then that's also some of the reason why I got so much hate is that I'm super loyal and it seems like I'm name dropping David Weekley. It seems like I'm name dropping Larry Lessig. It seems like I'm name dropping Mark McCormack. And oh, Larry just knows everybody. Well, at first when I started, I didn't know anything and I read 2 books. True story, 2 books. 2 books to create Duck 9 and $50 if I'm gonna be honest. It took $50 in 2 books. The Ultimate Credit Handbook and Jerry Detweiler's book in association with Mark McCormack, chapters 1 through 14. Reading to sorority girls was Duck 9, where I would ask myself the question, what value is Jerry Detweiler's book to super hot sorority girls with really big boobs? I would just ask that question over and over and over. And then people are like, oh my God, do you want to come to spring break with us? And I'm like, stranger danger, do I get my own place? They're like, yeah. And then I'm like, okay, so I guess I'll go on spring break with you guys. But in order for me to pay for myself, are you going to be paying for myself? Or am I going to need to get ROI for spring break with Kappa Kappa Gamma and Alpha Chi Omega before we go on spring break? And how many years have I gone to spring break? And then this is the Christian component of this talk, which is my bang number at spring break is 0. Fun hanging out with you guys. I hope we can all be slightly more creative and create. You're welcome for the alarm clock.